Which article of the Indian Constitution describes India as a union of states? The expression India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states occurs in which article? The word union in Article 1 signifies that the territory of India includes. Before introducing the bill for the formation of a new state, the President must. Article 3 of the Constitution does not deal with. What does Article 4 specify above laws made under Article 2 and 3? Which article ensures that laws made for the reorganization of state are not considered constitutional amendments? Which one of the following correctly matches Part 1 of the Constitution? Which schedule of the Constitution contains the list of state and union territory referred in Article 1? Article 1 of the Constitution declares India as. In which part of the Indian Constitution is union and its territory mentioned? Which article deals with the admission or establishment of new state? Which article of the Constitution empowers Parliament to form a new state or alter the boundaries of existing state? Who has the power to admit or establish new state into the Union of India? The term Union of States in Article 1 signifies. Under Article 3, prior recommendation of which authority is necessary before Parliament introduces a bill to alter state boundaries? Which article allows Parliament to create Union territory? Which one of the following is not correct about Article 3? Laws made under Article 2 and 3 for admission, establishment or reorganization of states shall fall under which article? The first schedule of the Constitution refers to in Article 1 contains. Which of the following state was created under Article 3 by the State Reorganization Act 1956? Which article was invoked during the creation of Telangana in 2014? Which article provides for change of name of any state? When a new state is formed under Article 3, its representations in Parliament. Which article says Parliament can make supplemental, incidental and consequential provision while admitting or reorganizing states? Which of the following statement is true about Part 1 of the Constitution? Which articles of the Constitution deals with citizenship? Article 5 of the Constitution deals with. Which of the following statement is correct? Amendments regarding citizenship acquisition and termination requires. Which of the following statement is true? The Citizenship Act 1955 was enacted under the authority of. Under which article can a person of Indian origin residing outside India register as a citizen? Which schedule of the Constitution deals with citizenship? Under the Constitution, citizenship can only be acquired or terminated only by. The power to legislate on matters of citizenship is included in which list of the 7 schedule? Which of the following statement best describes Indian citizenship? Which article deals with people who migrated to Pakistan but later returned to India with a permit for resettlement? What is the legal consequences of voluntary acquisition of foreign citizenship? Which law governs acquisition and termination of Indian citizenship after 1955? The Citizenship Act 2019 provides Indian citizenship to persecuted minorities from which country? Who grants citizenship by naturalization in India? The concept of citizenship by birth in India has been restricted by? Part 2 of the Constitution deals with citizenship at the commencement of Constitution is deal under? Which article is related to citizenship of migrants from Pakistan to India? Under which article were persons migrating to Pakistan deprived of Indian citizenship? Persons of Indian origin residing outside of India can register as citizen under? Which article deals with the continuance of rights of citizenship? Which article provides that no person shall be a citizen of India if he was voluntarily acquired citizenship of a foreign state? Which article empowers Parliament to make laws regarding citizenship? How many articles are there in Part 2? Which one of the following statement is true regarding Indian citizenship? The Citizenship Act was passed in? Who decides cases of doubt regarding acquisition citizenship under Article 6 or 7? What is the basic principle of Indian citizenship? Part 3 of the Constitution of India guarantees. The fundamental rights are borrowed from the Constitution of. Which of the following rights was removed from the list of fundamental rights by the 44th Amendment Act 1978? Article 15 prohibits discrimination on the grounds of. Which article of the Constitution abolishes untouchability? Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment is ensured by. Abolition of titles except military or academic distinction is provided under. The right to freedom is granted under. Which article of the Indian Constitution guarantees protection in respect of conviction for offences? The right to life and personal liberty is granted under. Article 21A deals with. Preventive detention is a law under which article? Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor is under. Which article prohibits the employment of children below 14 years in factories? Freedom of religion is granted under which articles? Cultural and educational rights are granted under. The right to constitutional remedies is mentioned under. Which article of the Indian Constitution defines the term state? How many fundamental rights are currently guaranteed by the Constitution of India? Which article guarantees equality before law? Article 17 of the Constitution deals with. The right to freedom is covered under which articles? Which of the following freedom is not guaranteed under Article 19? Which fundamental right is known as the heart and soul of the Constitution? The fundamental rights of Indian citizens can be suspended during. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution guarantees. The right to education. Article 21A was added by which Amendment Act? Which article prohibits forced labor and human trafficking? Employment of children under 14 years in factories is prohibited under. Freedom of religion is granted under which article? Cultural and educational rights belongs to which community? Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment is ensured under by. Abolition of title is mentioned under. Which article provides protection of certain rights regarding conviction for offences? Which of the following articles cannot be suspended even during emergency? The writ of habeas corpus is issued for. Who call Article 32 the heart and soul of the Constitution? The directive principles of state policy are. Which of the following is a Gandhian principle? Which of the following article is related to free legal aid? Which directive principle was added by the 42nd Amendment Act 1976? Which of the following is a socialist principles under directive principles of state policy? Which of the following directive principles of state policy was added by the 97th Amendment Act 2011? The article related to raising the level of nutrition and improving public health is? Which article deals with protection of monuments and objects of national importance? Under which article is the state directed to secure a social order for promotion of welfare of the people? Which of the following article was added by the 42nd Amendment Act 1976? Which of the following pairs is not correctly matched? Which of the following is not a directive principles of state policy? Which of the following cases declare the directive principle and fundamental rights are complementary? The directive principles aim at securing. Which of the following is a liberal intellectual principle? Which of the following statement is true about directive principles of state policy? Directive principles of state policy are borrowed from which country's constitution? Directive principles of state policy are mentioned in which part of the constitution? Which article of the constitution defines the term state for the purpose of directive principles of state policy? Which article declares that directive principles of state policy are not enforceable by any court? Which article directs the state to promote the welfare of people by securing a social order based on justice? Which article contains the famous Gandhian principle? Which article provides for equal pay for equal work for both men and women? The article related to provisions for early childhood care and education is? Which article directs the state to promote the educational and economic interests of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes? The directive to raise the level of nutrition and improve public health is under? Which article directs the state to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on model and scientific lines? Which article provides for the protection and improvement of the environment? The article directing the protection of monuments and national importance is? The separation of the judiciary from the executive is provided under which article? Which article directs the state to promote international peace and security? Which amendment inserted Article 43A regarding workers' participation in management? Which article directs the state to provide a living wage and decent standard of life to workers? Which article directs the state to provide just and human conditions of work and maternity relief? The right to work, education, and to public assistance in certain cases is directed by? Which article directs the state to secure a uniform civil code for citizens? The concept of free legal aid to the poor comes under which article? Which article deals with promoting cottage industries on an individual or cooperative basis? The directive principles are classified mainly into how many categories? Which article directs the state to promote voluntary formation of cooperative societies? Which article deals with the duty of the state to provide opportunities for healthy development of children? Which article aims to prevent concentration of wealth and means of production? The term welfare state is reflected in which article? The directive principles related to prohibition of intoxicating drinks is under? Which article directs the promotion of educational and economic interests of the weaker sections? The concept of directive principles of state policy was first introduced in which document before the Constitution?